Hey there guys, good morning. It's bright and early. Today we have a garden renovation and let's take a look at the truck. The truck's all loaded up. I got my materials yesterday and let's see how a morning starts on a day when we're doing one of these projects. So the sun hasn't come up yet. If you take a look off in the distance, you can see that there's just a glow on the horizon. Over here, I don't know how much you can see because when I look at the phone, it's totally dark. But I'm trying to show you that the trailer is fully loaded with some plants. Right here, I don't know what you can see once again, but there's a bunch more plants that have not been loaded and they're right here on the side, and I'll get those later. So, great, hope you can see me, and I'll check back in with you guys later. Bye. Hey there, this is Dalton Quigley. I know it was impossible to see anything back at my house as we were leaving, but now you can. So we've delivered the plants. We've pulled out, well, we've delivered half of the plants. We pulled out the dying autoleucans that were there, and now let me show you some of the plants that we're going to be installing. So these are Liberty hollies, and these needles do not stick you at all. You can just run your hand over them. You could fall into them, no problem. But it's got a beautiful dark green upscale leaf. And these are 4 to 5 foot. And I really think they're pushing 6 feet in some cases if they were in the ground. We also have these Encore azaleas. They're going to be going in. And we have some Hicks U's, some little Hicks U's. We also have these Razzle Dazzle, Diamond Dazzle crepe myrtles. They're going to be going in. There's some Chuck Hayes gardenias that haven't arrived yet, and also well, there's a few other plants that haven't arrived yet. I'll show you those later, but let's take a look. The client hired me for a consultation of her landscape, and I told her that there wasn't any height going on in the landscape, so that's why we chose those evergreens. And they're going to be going here. I first recommended one on each end and then one in the middle. We'll see how that turns out because it seems like we may be using the other one that would be in the middle in the back. And then around back, so right there, that's where the Razzle Dazzle, the Diamond Dazzle crepe myrtles are going. And we're going to have a lot of drift roses in the front, popcorn drift, which are a cool little rose, and we're going to be putting the Liberty hollies. Back here, against this wall, the Hicks U's are going to be the backdrop there, and in the front are the azaleas. So that's what's happening there. Over here in this spot of the landscape, we're going to have the hollies, and the gardenias are going to be in the front. They are going to be beautiful. And let's take a look out at what this client sees in the backyard. It's a beautiful golf course. It's great. We'll check back in later and see how the project is coming along. See you soon. Okay, so the job is moving along. I've made my second delivery of plants. The compost and soil mix is going into the beds. And I want to show you a couple of really great plants that I just brought to the job. Let's go take a look. So here at the job, I just brought some more plants. This is Vintage Jade Distilium. And if you use autoleucan laurels in your project, this is a great substitute. It's going to have a red bloom, nice glossy green leaf, soft leaf. The branches kind of drape as it grows. Maxes out around 3 feet. This is popcorn drift rose. So if you've ever heard of knockout roses, this is a dwarf variety of knockout rose called popcorn drift. So they'll probably get, I don't know why it looks blurry. There we go. It'll probably get about 2 feet high at the maximum, and it's going to look like a little wave of popcorn colored blooms. Now this, if you could smell it, it is fantastic. This is Chuck Hayes. This is a Chuck Hayes gardenia. And so these gardenias are going in. They are going to be fantastic. I don't know why it keeps getting blurry. Anyway, and then over here we're also putting in, I don't know if I showed you this or not earlier, but they are Diamond Dazzle crepe myrtles. And they're a dwarf variety of crepe myrtle. They'll probably get about waist high and max out. That'll be as high as they get. And so these are the plants for our job today. And we got Hicks yews, we got the Liberty hollies, and our popcorn drift roses. So right over here, our compost and soil mix has gone into the beds. Look at how they're nice and built up. That's what we've got over here. I'll show you that real quick. Every time I do a project, I try to incorporate some nice soil and compost mix into the bed. See how loose that is? Air can flow right through it. Water can drain through it. It's got some good organic material in there. But anyway, so those are our plants that we took out. These are them right here. The autoleucans that were butchered at some point and they were having a hard time coming back. Oh, let me show you a really cool plant that this client already has in their landscape. And this is called leadwort plumbago. It takes full sun. We're in zone 7, so we're in the middle of the United States. But look at those pretty purple flowers. Right there in the full sun, you can have this amazing wave of purple. Nice and dense. Well, great. I guess I'll check back with you later and show you how things turn out. Let's take one last look at the front of this house without any plants that have any height to it so that we can compare at the end. When you're designing your landscape, think about that. You've got a large structure. Everything's kind of flat around here. We need something to add some height. And in the realm of plants, you've got things that are conical, which are cone-shaped. You've got plants that are round. You've got boxwoods and things you can shape to make square. And you've got forms like that grass that are just kind of thin and wispy and sticking out. So you've got thin formed plants and dense plants. When we add this, it's going to add a real touch of class to the front of this property. So great. See you in a little while when we're all finished with the job. Everyone, okay, so it's the end of the day. It's been a long day, but a really fun day. Let's take a look at how this landscape turned out. So here we are walking up to the front. I don't know how well you can hear me. Normally I have a directional mic on my other camera, and it works out a little different, so I've got to try to remember to get close to the mic on this. So okay, here's our Liberty hollies. And then what we've done are these Diamond Dazzle crepe myrtles by the holly. One day that holly will be bigger and the Diamond Dazzle crepe myrtles will need to be pushed out a little, but that's okay. Crepe myrtles take transplanting really well. Here are our vintage jade Distillium in the back, and if you can picture, they're going to get about that windowsill height, maybe a little bigger. They're going to have those beautiful arching branches and they'll get a red bloom in the spring. Here's our popcorn drift rose here. See, it looks like popcorn. It looks just like popcorn. Anyway, so there's our popcorn drift roses, our crepe myrtles, and our Liberty hollies. Let's go around the back and take a look at how the rest turned out in the back. Look at that, how it looks down the side. Isn't that beautiful? And for this house that's so tall, it's just what the doctor ordered. Okay, so we're going to go to the back. Okay, right over here, here's our azalea bed that we talked about. There's our Hicks yews in the back, 1, 2, and 3. When they eventually grow up, they'll be topped off right at the level of that patio. And then these are the Encore azaleas, the red ones. Reddish pink. See, there's a bloom on the inside of there. Let me back out. So that's how this bed is. Those azaleas will all merge together, and those Hicksus will grow up and reach the top of the patio there, and they'll be amazing, especially in the spring. Well, they're Encores, so they'll bloom again and again, but off and on they'll bloom in a burst in the spring, a burst in the fall, and a little bit during the summer. So right now we're seeing those summer blooms. Here's the other hollies, Liberty hollies, and then here's our Chuck Hayes gardenia. If you were out here, it smells heavenly. They've got plenty of blooms on them. Here's, well, that one's kind of, it's got some brown parts on it and whatnot, but normally the Chuck Hayes bloom is really a stark white. I think this one might be a good example. Take a look at that. Isn't that white? And it smells heavenly. So great, this bed was planned out that those hollies would go according to those curves in the patio that stick out and go in. So let me get back where we can take it all in a little bit. So, okay, take a look at that. Those Chuck Hayes gardenias are going to grow up, merge together, and this is going to be a wall of fragrance. It's all got a great compost and soil mix. Everything's been watered. The client is going to put down mulch. I'm always happy if the client wants to do the mulching, and then we can just get the hard work out of the way. Whew. Great, thank you for taking a look at one of my jobs with me, and I'll share more next time I have another one. See you guys soon. Bye.